Okay, welcome to another podcast with your host. I'm Mr. Mack-Poole, and today we're going to be looking at exam technique and, in particular, question 3C. So, question 3C is maybe a bit of an odd question for you. It asks you to suggest why different interpretations disagree, and I'm just going to give you an example of how they can disagree. So, interpretation one, and what we're looking at is the growth in the support for the Nazis. Interpretation one by Richard J. Evans states that Nazi propaganda skillfully targeted specific groups in the German electorate, providing topics for particular venues and picking the speaker to fit the occasion. The party recognised the growing divisions in German society into competing interest groups in the course of the Depression and tailored their message to their particular constituency. Right, so the Nazis adapted. Anyway, I'm just conscious of time. So, in essence, this historian is a political historian, and he's stating that the Nazis were like ingenious in their political campaigning and propaganda, in being all things to all people. Now, interpretation two there, the Weimar Republic by John Haldon, he's a socio-economic historian. So more than any other party, the NSDAP depended on the crisis for its growth. The official membership statistics show an increase from 129,000 to 849,000 from 1930 to 1933. So what you'd see is that actually this was during the economic depression. No fewer than 43% of the new members entering the party were 18 to 30, i.e., young men and also women, but principally the young who are angry about being unemployed. The preponderance number of petty bourgeois, low middle class, was particularly striking. White collar workers, merchants, artisans, shopkeepers, civil servants, etc., etc. So, in essence, it's a lot of people who are unemployed and middle classes, and especially people who are young, age 18 to 30. There was core groups that would have voted for the Nazis, and that was dependent on their socio-economic situation. So I've kind of alluded to what why historians can disagree, and it's to how much precedence, how much importance they put upon different factors. So let's put me over here. Okay, so on the one hand, you can have historians like myself, and I really believe that socioeconomics really do dominate history, and the worse a socioeconomic situation is, the more likely people are to vote for extreme parties. I also believe that technological changes are very important to society. So basically, the social and economic conditions drive the herd, that is the human population, into certain avenues. Now, there are other historians who believe that actually, no, you have political juggernauts, people who are very charismatic with brand new ideas, great speakers, intelligent people, innovative people who will dominate history in politics because of their ingenious ways. So, Adolf Hitler being one of these. So, really, this is what we call great man theory. Now, most historians don't really subscribe to great man theory anymore. They think it's essentially not true. And most historians do kind of veer towards this socio-economic viewpoint of history. But if you're kind of stuck on why historians disagree, this can be one of the core reasons why they do, as historians fit into these two kind of broad camps, like the great man theory, political historians, and socio-economic historians who really look into those factors which drive change in society. So if you're answering a question like that, in an exam, and you need to meet the exam criteria, an explanation of a reason of difference is given, analysing the interpretations, the explanation is substantiated effectively. I believe if you gave an answer stating that historians disagree based on whether they have a political emphasis or a socio-economic emphasis, and it's fully explained, you can't really fail but to pick up 3 to 4 marks for that question. Okay,